What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Inside the Five. It's Will.
It's Griff.
Stuff.
And in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the Masters, a little recap from the past weekend. We got NBA play-in and playoffs coming up this weekend, and then we're going to end things off with a little MLB talk. What do we say, boys?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Inside the Five. We're going to start things off with a little Masters recap. Scotty Scheffler wins his second Masters, and Neil Shipley won the low amateur. It was a very interesting weekend in Augusta. I mean, some of the casual things that happen every year. Bryson DeChambeau falls apart after Friday. Max Homa and Morikawa were both in it late, kind of fell apart late as well. Ludwig Oberg came in second. He impressed the field. He's been impressive. He's a pretty young golfer out there doing his thing. Woods finished at plus 16, and John Rahm, last year's winner, had a pretty rough weekend. Griff, initial thoughts from the weekend of the Masters, a historic weekend.
Well, yeah, I'll get it started here. I had a bet way before the Masters, maybe 2 weeks before. Actually, it might have been before the Valspar. On Wyndham Clark, outright winner. Did not work out at all. Missed the cut. Not even close, to be honest. But I did place a little one on Max Homa and down the stretch on Sunday. What was just a rough go. And I feel like Scotty Scheffler, coming out there and getting his second in 3 years, kind of changing the way that people play golf, where, he has his way and he does it and he doesn't change it. Is kind of what this game needs, and especially for someone on the PGA Tour to go out and do that, and to be so consistent with it, has been very impressive. It was kind of almost a no-doubter. Like, people were like, obviously he was the odds-on favorite to win the Masters, and the only thing really keeping him out was the fact that his wife might go into labor, which honestly I didn't think was ever going to happen, because I heard it's like a month until she was actually expected. So, I hate to be that guy. I'm a Scotty Scheffler guy. I've been hyping him up this whole time. And the way that he plays is impressive. I do want to talk about Max Homa a little bit. He came out firing on Saturday, right? Or not on Saturday, but on Friday, to really assert himself into that top three, and just shaky performance on Saturday. And then to not really have that pull through on Sunday that he needed was kind of the story of like Max Homa. It's just like what he is, sadly. And I'm, a big fan of him. And I was rooting for him down the stretch. It was just very rough to see stuff. And obviously Tiger Woods, setting the records that he does every single time he gets to Augusta. Still not finishing too impressive. But making the cut, playing the weekend, dealing with the weather stuff early in the week. We haven't talked that much about early in the week, kind of getting into it, but a lot of those players dealt with conditions, and it was kind of a rough setup, which Augusta kind of does here year in to year out now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we haven't even talked about the debacle of all the live guys. I mean, especially as the weeks go on. And we talked about Bryson DeChambeau kind of falling off too. It's because these guys aren't used to playing 72 holes anymore. They're used to playing 54. And the fatigue sets in. Whatever happens in the future with the merger back in, I think we're going to see these guys prepare in a different way. And especially earlier in the week when you have to set the tone and you're playing 18, you're not playing. What are they playing live? 16, 15, or 14?
I think it's 14.
They play 14.
14.
Yeah, they play 14 holes. That's not that you can see it. You see the fall off. You see it especially earlier in the week when they're not used to playing those 4 extra holes. And you see guys like Brooks Koepka, who typically overperform in the high leverage situations, fall apart. And he fell apart early. He was never really in it. He made the cut, but he was playing over par all week. So unfortunate. I thought Brooks was going to have a great showing after last year, after he should have won and kind of choked it away towards the end. But that you're talking about guys who aren't used to it. So Masters is the greatest weekend in sports, probably, especially for people like us who actually enjoy golf. And Scotty Scheffler was just dominant. Those are my real takeaways with it. He was projected to win, and he shattered it. He win by 6 strokes, 7 strokes. So
yeah, He
Yeah,
pulled
it was
away
like
on
7.
that.
Yeah, and he had the lead early on. He was tied with Bryson early, but it was never really a doubt with him. He played some excellent golf. He was making shots all over the place. I think on Sunday especially, he birdied 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He went on a crazy run, and that's kind of what set him apart from everybody. And shout out Scotty. He's probably going to be the favorite for the upcoming years as well. So those are my real takeaways for that.
Yeah, no, Scotty Scheffler definitely proved why he was golf's number one this past weekend. He's favored, I believe, this weekend at the RBC. No surprise there, as he's probably going to go on a little run. But I feel like it was also what was interesting too. It was kind of funny. Scotty Scheffler handed Rahm's jacket last year, and then Rahm handed Scotty's jacket this year, which is kind of funny. So we've had the same 2 winners or 3 winners, I guess, the last couple of years. So that was interesting.
My following takeaway with exactly what you said was look at what John Rahm did this year and last year when he won it, being a part of the PGA Tour, and now this year being a part of Live kind of culminates everything that we're kind of talking about here, I think, because, he didn't really impress me at all. John Rahm's kind of a guy that goes out there and hits the driver well and plays Augusta well because he can go out there, poke out on the par fives, and he has really no issue with that. So when it comes time to get down Amen Corner on late on Saturday, like, he's usually a guy that you're looking at and he's going strong, and we didn't see that this weekend from him.
No, which was kind of surprising as he dominated the Masters last year. Like, he was firing on all cylinders. He was playing probably some of the best golf of his entire career and goes out there. I mean, that's what the Masters does, though. Regardless of who you are, no matter if you're in Live, if you're the PGA Tour, the Masters has the ability to eat you up on any given weekend that you're there. So, but that's pretty much it for the Masters recap. We're going to get right into NBA play-in and playoffs. We had the play-in start last night, which was Tuesday night. We had the Lakers beating the Pelicans 110-106, and the Kings beating the Warriors 118-94. We're going to start with a little bit predictions. We're going to move right into tonight's game. We got the Heat versus the 76ers. The 76ers are -5.5. Griff, what do we think?
Yeah, I just think that the Heat are a team that are kind of hyped up to be what they aren't anymore. And this could be biased, this could be unbiased, this could be from years of whatever. I don't believe in them. What's the Sixers health status? Embiid's back, right? He's back. He came back recently, right? Yeah. I got the Sixers in this. I think that the 76ers are one of those playing teams that kind of aren't meant to be there. And I would love for them to get the 7 seed instead of the 8 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we're talking about in terms of the Celtics, obviously we're going to take this from a biased point of view. If I'm talking about these two teams, I really don't care which one that the Celtics face because I think that they beat either or in 5. Maybe the Heat will take a 6 just because whatever voodoo magic they have, but they're terrible, to be honest. They're a team that shouldn't be in the playoffs to begin with, and because the East was very weak this year, especially towards the back half, that's why they're in the position they're in. I expect the 76ers to win this game by 10-plus points tonight.
I like that. I mean, I'm right there with you guys. I also got the 76ers. I don't think the Heat are a good team at all. I mean, obviously, we have our bias there, but regardless of that, I just don't like them at all in this situation. But I'm going with 76ers. Moving on to the other game we have tonight, we have Hawks versus the Bulls. The Bulls are -3. Stav, what do we think?
I don't know. These teams are so weird, and obviously, Chicago doesn't have anybody. I was thinking, because sorry, I didn't watch many Bulls games this year. My bad. Zach LaVine's been out for the entire year. That's why they're sitting where they are. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's 50? So I expect the Hawks to win this game. I think that they cover too because the Bulls are 3-point favorites because they're home. But the Hawks do have some play-in magic too. I trust Trae Young in an elimination scenario. He's been there. He's done that. He's done that throughout his entire career. So I expect the Hawks to win tonight. And he is playing.
Yeah. And like you said, he is playing someone who came back very, very recently off kind of a long injury. But DeJounte Murray's been holding it down. Shout out DeJounte Murray. One of the only guys that kind of fell off as one of our guys on the podcast. He used to be our guy.
That's
Mhm.
true.
And he is kind of no longer, and I'm kind of okay with it. But he's been holding it down in Atlanta, to be honest, to keep them afloat, get them in the play-in. And I think that this is a perfect opportunity against the Bulls, who, like you said, Stav, the Hawks kind of have that play-in magic where I feel the Bulls kind of have the opposite of the play-in where they're in there every year in this 9-10 game and they just get booted. So I don't like how I feel about this Bulls team. They're very boring. I don't think that they can keep up scoring wise, and I think that that'll play a big factor tonight. I'm going to take the Hawks. I love the spread. I'm going to take a money line as well.
I'm also there with the Hawks too. I mean, obviously, like you said, Stav, the Hawks are one of those teams that have playing magic, and the Bulls. I mean, I don't think I've watched any Bulls games unless they played the Celtics, but like still, like they're just not good. Like that's just how it is. They're just not good at all. We have a couple. Well, we have one game coming up on Friday, but I think there'll be another one, obviously determining on who wins the 8th seed game. But we have the Kings and the Pelicans. The Kings are -1. Griff, what do we think?
What the Kings did the other night impressed me, and Zion being out in this game, right? This next game.
Is that official?
I think it is.
I'm checking right now. It wouldn't shock me because they're saying he's having an MRI today.
It does say Zion is out.
I think Shams reported it.
Okay, I must have missed that.
Yeah,
he is out. Yeah, continue.
That like if Keegan Murray can do what he did last night or on Tuesday night now, I see no reason why the Kings shouldn't beat the New Orleans Pelicans without Zion Williamson. I mean, you saw the performance that Zion put up, and everybody's going crazy on Twitter and all this, and we see that about once every other year from this guy. And then the Pelicans are kind of at the rough end of this, where you see the glimpses, you don't want to give up on this guy, and then every year you lose in the play-in. And I think that's going to be the same exact case this year. I think the Kings sneak into the playoffs, and I think they might get swept in the first round, to be honest. But I don't know. Domantas Sabonis has been playing some good ball.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of comes down to Domantas Sabonis probably being the best player on the floor. Him and De'Aaron Fox are probably going to be the two best players on the floor. And the rotation guys for the Kings will outperform the guys on the Pelicans. I mean, we saw it down the stretch where the Lakers kind of blew a lead. They were up by 15 points around, kind of cruising through, and then Zion kind of exploded, took the game into his hands. But then when it got down to crunch time, when the Pelicans even had a lead towards the end of the game, no one really knew what to do with the ball. And Brandon Ingram played horrible. And I don't trust the rest of those guys to really beat the Kings. I think that the Kings are probably going to win this game, and I think they're going to smoke them.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Kings in this game too. I think obviously with Zion being out, that plays a big factor. I'm not a big fan of the way the Pelicans play in certain situations. Both of these teams are very interesting the way they've been playing all season long. Obviously, the Kings aren't the same Kings that were last season, but they're still pretty decent. But I'm gonna take the Kings in this game. The 8th seed game on the other side is still to be determined. We're going to move right into the first round game starting on Saturday. We have the Magic versus the Cavs. Griff, give us your predictions.
Yeah, I'll go real quick here. I got the Cavs in 7. I think, even with the little experience that Cleveland has, it still outweighs what Orlando has faced. And I think Orlando kind of overperformed this year. Paolo Banchero had a fantastic season. I'll give it to him. But I think the road ends here, and the Cavs take it in 6. I think the Magic give them a fight. And it's kind of one of those years that if you're a Magic fan, I'd be satisfied if I go 6 games in this series and then say, hey, maybe next year we win a playoff series.
The Magic are young, fun, and exciting, I guess. But Donovan Mitchell is going to be too much for this team to handle. And that's what it really comes down to. They have the best player on the floor. I'm going to say this kind of throughout, and that's what you need to have in order to win the first round series. And he's probably going to average well over 30 points a game in this series, and they're going to have no answers. The experience is going to set in, and I have Cleveland winning this in 5.
I got the Cavs. I got the Cavs in 7 as well. Both teams obviously young and kind of some players still not new. Well, some players still new to the playoffs, but I think Donovan Mitchell alone sets the edge on the series for the Cavs. So I'm going with them in 7. Moving on, we have the Suns versus the T-Wolves. Stav, prediction.
I have Phoenix in 7. I think that Kevin Durant is going to kind of put himself back into that conversation of making people remember who the fuck Kevin Durant is. And I remember a time when the Celtics were the 2 seed and they were facing the 7th seeded Brooklyn Nets, and everyone was just fearing Kevin Durant. And I know the Celtics ended up sweeping them, but I don't feel like that fear is in play right now for this young Timberwolves team who no one's done that. And Karl Anthony Towns has continuously underperformed in playoff and play-in scenarios. So where does that come out? And he's kind of battling an injury right now. And how this team's constructed is they're looking to stop interior scoring, right? Well, Yusuf Nurkic is over there, and he's going to grab 20 rebounds in a game, and no one's going to blink an eye. And then you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, who are going to scorch them from outside. I know that Jaden McDaniels is a pretty good perimeter defender. Anthony Edwards is probably going to have the task of guarding Devin Booker because McDaniels is probably going to be on Durant. No one can necessarily guard Bradley Beal. So there's a threat, and this team is kind of built for a playoff matchup with the Timberwolves. So I have Phoenix in 7.
All right. Here's what I'm just gonna go straight at it. I just think that Anthony Edwards is a superstar, and I think that through all the allegations, through all the struggle, and through all the early success, like he's kind of risen and lived up to the moment, and this is a great chance. And I'm not saying that it's kind of a similar chance that he has to that Celtics team that you're talking about, Stav. But he has the chance to go out there and beat a guy like Kevin Durant, go out there and beat a guy like Devin Booker, and put that on his resume as, kind of the number one player on that team, the number one option on that team. And with Cat being back, and Rudy Gobert kind of playing well down the stretch, in my opinion, I agree that Nurkic is going to be a beast on the boards, and I think that he's going to be one of the best players for the Suns on the court throughout this series, because I just don't like the way that this team is gelling, and I think with Devin Booker at the 1, he's had some good games, but with Bradley Beal out there, it's kind of flustering. And then it doesn't really allow Kevin Durant to have the space to create himself. It just really hasn't fit. And I think that the Timberwolves' struggles earlier in this season has resulted in what we've seen coaching wise, to make the adjustments that they've made. And even with Cat being out and Naz Reid, UNC alum, stepping into the role that he has, and playing the way that he has now coming off the bench, that depth for Minnesota, I think is going to be tough. I'm going to take them in 6 here. And I think the reason that me and Stav kind of, brushed through the Magic and Cavs series and then went into depth about this series is because this might be the series of the first round. Like, this is going to be a great series.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I'm going with the Timberwolves in 7, obviously for similar reasons as you, Griff. I kind of agree with you what you're saying there with their depth. And I'm really on the side that I don't really like the way the Suns team is kind of gelling and kind of mixing along together. And I think if some of those issues persist, especially early on in the series, that doesn't usually bow well for a lot of teams. But I think that they can put it together. I think, for one, I said they're going to go 7. I think they get to 7 games, and the T-Wolves come out flying in that 7th game, and the Suns notably come out flat. So that's my opinion, but we're going to move on. The next game, hypothetically, would be whoever would be playing the Knicks, but we're going to move on from that. We have the Lakers versus the Nuggets. Griff, what do you think?
Yeah, I want to say I think the Knicks lose in the first round. I want to lead off with that since we did brush by that. I think that no matter what, if it's the Heat, the Sixers, or the Hawks, I think that they could lose in the first round. I just wanted to get that out of the way. For this series, Lakers Nuggets, I don't think this is going to be as easy as people think it is for the Nuggets. I think that the Lakers are a great team, and they're a type of team that's built to beat Denver. And that's kind of what they've built their whole team around, is to get into the playoffs. And then kind of like what Stav said, Kevin Durant's trying to establish himself as is a guy like LeBron James, who obviously I don't love to shed light on, but a guy that when come playoff time, if he can get the guys around him hot, he's not going to be the issue. So like if the rest of the team is going, they're going to be full systems go, and they can make a finals run whenever they want, because they have the names on that team. With that being said, I think that the Nuggets have the names on that team as well, and we've seen it more recently. I think this series is going to go 7 games, and I think the Nuggets win it. And I think basically because of home court. Now, I don't think they win every single game at home, vice versa, but I think it's going to come down to Game 7 being in Denver.
Okay. Griff, you gave a very well put in-depth analysis of this series. The Nuggets are going to win in 5. The Lakers haven't beaten the Nuggets at all in the last 3 years, which no one really realizes. And there's a reason for that. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. D'Angelo Russell's going to go very cold at certain points. And you're not wrong when you say LeBron's going to make everyone around him better. But at age 40, he's not going to be able to carry this team over Denver. I mean, we saw it last year in the Western Conference Finals, where the Los Angeles Lakers battled through and they had a pretty easy course to the NBA Finals, or to the Western Conference Finals, and then they hit a roadblock and they couldn't overcome it. I don't see a world where this Lakers team can beat Denver, and I don't even see it necessarily being a competition. I think that we're going to see one signature LeBron game, like maybe game 3 or 4, and then the Nuggets are just going to take care of business.
Yeah, no, I like that. I got the Nuggets in 6. I think the Nuggets are going to take care of business. I'm kind of right there with you, Stav, where I think LeBron's going to have maybe his 1 or 2 games where he kind of obviously shows who he is, which we all know who he is. But I just don't think the supporting cast for LeBron is going to be able to withstand a full series against the Nuggets. Not going to skip over the potential matchups for the Celtics. Griff, why don't you talk a little bit about our potential series with whoever it might be?
Yeah, I love it. Well, Stav's talked a lot about who the best player on the court is going to be in these series. No matter who we play, out of the 3 names I listed, I pretty much am just throwing the Bulls out of there. The Hawks being the bottom of them, and then obviously the Sixers and the Heat. I don't see us going more than 6 games, and I think to the point of having the best player on the court, other than having, Joel Embiid on the other side, we have 3 out of the best 4 players on the court at every time against other teams, or even maybe 4 out of the best 5. And it goes as deep as Peyton Pritchard. It goes as deep as Sam Hauser. It goes as deep as guys like this, Xavier Tillman, who can come in there. And even if he's eating up 7 to 12 minutes in a game, I mean, that's 7 to 12 out of 48 minutes in a playoff game, and he can go out there and do it for us, and he's kind of proved that. I don't think he's proven much more than that, 15 minutes plus. But that's just a testament to the depth that we have. We have guys surrounding our big guys, our role players who, we used to have role players in the starting lineup, and now none of those guys are really role players. Those guys are, they can get it done at any given moment on any given possession. And this is kind of the put it all together year. I don't think we're going to, I'm not saying that we're going to go out and sweep anyone that we see in the first round. But I think we got a hell of a good chance. And this is kind of what we've been waiting for. So, okay, I think we sweep whoever it is in the first round. I'll put a future on it. Whenever I'm available to, I'll do it. We're going to sweep the 76ers in the first round. We're going to play the 76ers in the first round, even though I said the otherwise. Changing everything. We're going to play the Sixers in the first round. We're going to sweep them.
Yeah, Griff, I'm really in unison with you here. This Celtics team, I don't want to say they coasted through after they clinched the best record in the NBA. I don't want to say they coasted, but they kind of did. And I don't love that necessarily because we're kind of yet to see this team have that switch where they can turn it on in the playoffs. But I'm not saying they don't have it. I'm very excited to see Kristaps Porzingis in a playoff situation that he's going to be a high leverage guy. I mean, he made it to the Western Conference Finals with Dallas that year, 2022. He was on that team, but he didn't really have the same role that he has here in Boston. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. When we lost to the Heat and we lost to the Warriors, where do you guys think this team went wrong? Especially last year against the Heat. I know in Game 7, what happened, do you think?
Well, okay, I'll go here. People are like Eric Spoelstra, he made everybody force Jaylen Brown to go left, all this rah blah blah. I'm not gonna say it's a Ben Simmons situation. Jaylen Brown last year, he delivered in moments, but I think that being in such a high market and being in the place that we're in, if someone underperforms to the slightest, we put the absolute world on their shoulders. And to that exact point, I'm going to bash someone that's not on the Celtics anymore. Marcus Smart jacked threes for the past 9 years. He was just jacking threes, going crazy. I'm sorry, but I love the guy, and I'm actually team retire 36, which is not a lot of people are on that boat. But no, what I think is different about this team, I would say, compared to last year, is the veteran presence of Drew Holiday. The fact that he's going to go out in the corner of the three and be one of the highest percentage 3-point shooters and mold into that role where he can play defense and be a shooter for a guy like Jason Tatum to handle the ball more. Where Marcus Smart, we were kind of so focused on him being the point guard of this team, right? And we wanted him to average 7, 8 in a dream world, 10 assists a game, right? That's what we wanted him to be, a 3-and-D guy. Now, instead, we've kind of split that role amongst the guys that should be touching the ball. And I think that the Mazzulla ball with Kristaps Porzingis in effect, stretching out for 3-pointers, this is, I've said it since the beginning of the season, this is the roster that Joe Mazzulla dreamed of. Like, this is exactly what Joe Mazzulla wanted in terms of the offensive side of the ball. And I think it's translated because he's coached them up so well. Now I think it just comes down to who's going to be the guy. And is it going to be our MVP, or are we just going to wait on someone to have a given moment? Are we going to have to rely on a Peyton Pritchard 30-point game because we weren't getting that last year? We weren't really giving minutes to him last year. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things in this, and I'm kind of rambling on. But that's the exact point of it. It kind of feels like, I've been calling them the Avengers all year because this is the exact team Joe Mazzulla wanted to build. And Brad Stevens went out there and did it this year.
So, Will, where do you think they went wrong? I'm going to a specific point here. But Will, shortly, what do you think? What do you think went wrong last year in the ECF?
I think, along with what you said, Griff, I think this team had a hard time buying into themselves. I think that team had a hard time buying into the system and buying into their identity. I feel like we can even stretch back to when we made the finals really quickly. When we finally got over that hump, we were an Eastern Conference Finals team and we couldn't get past that. We finally made it, lost in the finals, then lost to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals again. I feel like this team, we had kind of a similar identity where it was the whole love and trust era with Marcus Smart, and we kind of played as that scrappy team, but we knew we were scrappy. We didn't think that we were more than that. Now with this whole this new roster with these new moves, Brad Stevens putting these pieces together, like you said, Griff, calling them the Avengers, people really buying into Joe Mazzulla and really becoming a team and not really kind of I'm going to go get mine every night, everyone trying to do that. I really think that's where we went wrong. I don't really think it's the mindset completely changed into this year, and the way the team has played this year really has shown that.
So you guys took it from a broader point of view, but when you boil it down, the reason they lost Game 7 last year is because they couldn't hit their fucking shots and they couldn't beat the zone. That's what happened. They couldn't, after Jason Tatum got hurt, they couldn't beat the zone. And why was that? It's because Robert Williams is a traffic cone on the offensive end of the game. Like Marcus Smart, like you said, Griff, couldn't make shots when it mattered. Jaylen Brown turned the ball over too much. The only guy that really showed up was Derek White. You take two of those offensive liabilities out of the picture, and you put in two offensive threats who are going to make the right play when they have the ball in their hands at all times and can do something when they have the ball in their hands. And like, I love Rob Will. Shout out him. He was pretty good for us. He was a defensive monster. Okay, now you add Kristaps Porzingis into the equation, a 20-point per game scorer. You know, the Miami Heat go on one of their stupid little fucking fairy runs. You give the ball to Kristaps in the paint, he puts up a little hook shot, mid-range shot, it's going to go in, right? He's a crowd silencer. He's someone that, we need a bucket right now. Drew Holiday's going to bring up the ball, give it to Kristaps in the paint. He's going to drop step. He's going to put up a hook shot. He's going to do a fade away from the post, and no one can stop that. That was what this team was missing. And now that we have it, I really don't see a team that can stop it. And we're going to see questions about this team. Every single loss that this team endures in this playoff run, they're going to question the mental fortitude of the team because they will not be blown out in the playoffs. It will be a close loss. And then everyone's going to be like, they can't win the close games after we just won a series 4-1 because we blew them out 5 times. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of noise around this team. And this team is built to beat the noise. And that's what's different about this team. You know what I mean? I just feel like 1 through 5, like you mentioned before, Griff, we don't have any role players in our starting 5, right? Any single guy in our starting 5 can go out and they can give you 20 points, and I would not be shocked. Whether that be Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Kristaps Porzingis. And then you go to the bench. Peyton Pritchard is having a career year. And given opportunity, he's going out. He had 38 points the other night as a starting point guard. Sam Hauser, he's capable of knocking down 10 threes in a game. Al Horford, the captain of the team, the guy who's been here probably the longest, he's coming off the bench now. And we brought up guys like Xavier Tillman, Luke Cornett, all these other guys. I'm confident in going 10 guys deep in the playoffs because everyone's kind of been there and played in a high leverage situation. So whoever they face in the first round, we're going to win in 5 or 6. I think Miami takes us to 6 just because of some voodoo magic bullshit. Embiid is too tired. He can't carry the 76ers. Maxey does concern me a little bit. He does well against us, but the rest of those cats don't bother me. The Hawks, Trae Young will take over a game. He'll win one by himself. And the Bulls will sweep.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Shout out Team USA. They were announced too. We forgot to mention them.
Yeah.
It's the God Squad. They're going to win the medal. Just quickly, I just wanted to say Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, and Kevin Durant. The team's nasty. They're going to win the gold. All right. Yeah. And the jerseys are really cool.
I haven't seen the jerseys yet.
I haven't seen them either.
Grant Hill went around to each player and gave them the jersey. They're pretty awesome. They're better than these.
I didn't even know that they dropped.
They remind me of the 2008 ones, but with a little update to them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm buying.
Wait, I can't find it.
Yeah,
I can't find it. I'll carry us on over it though.
Yeah, you'll see it on Twitter.
Stav has early access. Stav has the jersey already. It's coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say where
he saw it before everyone else did.
I did. Where? Yeah, like Grant Hill went around to each player and gave them a jersey that made the team. All right, so I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yep, that's sick.
It doesn't look as cool.
All
like
the
on
YouTube
viewers
can see that.
But yeah, they're just sick jerseys. Like, yeah, shout out them. They're gonna win the gold. Okay, moving on.
Quickly wrapping up with a couple games left. Obviously, the Thunder are still to be determined who they're going to play. We have the Mavs and the Clippers. Quick fire.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Clippers. I'm going to take the Clippers here. It's the last chance they have in the crypt. Rest in peace, crypto for the Clippers and Tuit Dome next year.
Yeah, Clippers are going to win this. They're going to be too much for the Mavs to handle. The Mavs suck at defense.
Yeah, I got the Clippers. And then final game before we move on, Pacers and the Bucks.
The Pacers really fell off, in my opinion, this year. And although Giannis is not going to be there for the start of the series, I'm going to take the Bucks in 6. I think Giannis comes back in game 2, if not game 3. And they kind of figure it out from there. And I don't think we're going to be ready for Dame once Giannis comes back. I don't think Dame's going to be everything that everyone wants him to be in those 2 or 3 games that Giannis is gone.
Yeah, it's this series, in my opinion, is going 7. The Bucks started. I mean, if we want to talk about falling off too,
Yep.
These are the 2 biggest fall offs in the East, and they're facing each other. So one of them is going to have a good season by their standards because someone's going to move on. You can't not both lose. If it's possible, these teams would figure out a way for them both to lose. The Pacers, I mean, shout out them, I guess. No one really expected them to be in this situation, but they were talking about being a top seed in the East, like a top 2, 3 seed. And then now they're sitting at 6th. And the Bucks started off the season 30-13, and they didn't even get 50 wins. That's embarrassing for this team. Like very fucking embarrassing. So they have too much going on. Like I said, both of these teams are telling me they're going to lose. If I can pick both of them to lose, I would. Give me the Pacers in 7.
I also got the Pacers in 7. I think the Bucks fall off in the series completely. Doc Rivers retires forever.
He shouldn't be coaching.
Yeah, I mean they have been worse since he got there. I don't know what. That's the only thing that's been flooding like all my social media is how bad the Bucks have been since hiring Doc Rivers. So just waiting for like the incoming like combustion of that entire team. Anyways, that finishes up NBA playoffs and play-in. We'll move on to the NHL playoffs. A little add-in. Start things off with our Bruins. I'm going to skip over the first game. With our Bruins, we're playing the Maple Leafs. Predictions.
I mean, if I can, you want me to just go rapid fire with
let's just
storylines quickly with each of these?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. Panthers
Give
and
me the
Lightning.
hockey minutes off.
All right, Panthers and Lightning. This is probably going to be the series of the first round just because of how hot the Panthers have been. And they have goal scorers in their top 2 lines, right? Obviously, they've been there. They've done that. They made the cup last year. They won this President's Trophy the year prior. The top 2 lines are nasty. Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, rather, is going to end up he's going to get the biggest contract probably this offseason that we'll see. And he's leading the Panthers in points. He's top 5 in the NHL in goals. Obviously, the Lightning are that veteran team that no one really wants to see. This is a matchup that's going to go 7. The Panthers are probably going to win. And then Bruins and the Maple Leafs. Do I trust the Bruins right now? No. They finished the season horrible. They lost to every single playoff team that they encountered. And it wasn't like they clinched anything. They had a chance to win the President's Trophy. They didn't. I mean, trust me, no one loves the Bruins pretty much more than I do. I'm scared of this matchup in the first round. I think that they can win. It's going to go 7. These 2 series are going to go 7. And Austin Matthews is one of the best players in hockey. So we're going to see his star show up. But there's obviously that stigma around the Toronto Maple Leafs where they can't get out of the first round. They did it for the first time in their franchise's history last year. Or not franchise, in like 50 years, pretty much. So Bruins in 7. Rangers, they won the President's Trophy. No one really thought that they would. And the Capitals, technically the worst team ever to make the playoffs. They had the largest negative goal differential for a team that's ever made the playoffs. They were minus 38. And they didn't get a point. Basically, the stars had to align in perfect fashion for this Capitals team to make the playoffs. The Flyers didn't get a point in like the last 10 games of the season. And the Red Wings, I don't know what happened with them, to be honest. They were the 4th seed and then they just fell out of the playoffs. So my mind's telling me Rangers in 4, but this is the exact same thing that happened last year with the Bruins and the Panthers, where there's no way in hell that this Capitals team should win, but then they're going to fuck around and end up winning. And the Rangers are notorious choke artists, especially with the President's Trophy now, the pressure of that. So I wouldn't be shocked just because of how hockey is. All you need to do to win is get in, right? It's a completely new season. Skates got to be sharpened anyways. Logically, the Rangers are going to win. Don't be shocked if the Capitals win just because some fuckery that happens. All right, and Hurricanes and Islanders, this is a boring series. Every single game, if you're going to bet the under. Every single game is going to be 2-1 or 1-0 or 3-1. Hurricanes here. Out west, Stars and Kings. No storylines majorly here. I say the Stars are going to win. Winnipeg Jets and Colorado. Canucks and Predators. Canucks were they should have won the President's Trophy. They kind of choked, but that might be a good thing. And then the series out west of the first round, the Oilers and the Knights. The Knights always find a way to win. They're not going to lose in the first round, and Connor McDavid's going to be continue to be labeled as a choke artist come playoff time. So, Stanley Cup predictions, I think that the Rangers are going to end up facing Vancouver, and I think the Rangers are going to win the Cup.
Boom.
And that's pretty much it. If you guys wanted to add anything, but that's my debrief of the playoffs.
No, I think you should take a deep breath, and then I think we should talk about the Red Sox. You good, Will?
Sounds great. But yeah, we'll roll right into the Red Sox. I can sit here and read everything I got here. I'm not. Are we ass? Like, I really don't know.
It's, like,
whoever
Romy is, I don't know why he's at shortstop. I don't know who he is. And here's the thing. A game like last night, right? Or Tuesday night, April 16th, if people are listening back, because that game
epitome.
To be down and put up a 5 spot, I believe it was in the 5th inning. I don't have the box score in front of me, but they put up a 5 spot and to come back and then to not only, tie the game up, but to take the lead. For Kenley to come in and then for it to be, his first blown save of the season, going extra innings. And I feel like every time we go in extra innings right now, it's just no good luck for us. It stinks because it just keeps those question marks alive, Will, that you're having, where we have a game where Devers, has that great hit during that run. Wong hits a home run, like these different guys. Casas, who's been, slugging very well lately. And the pitching's been well in terms of the rotation, and I'd even say some of the bullpen guys have been surprisingly well, or have been surprisingly good, and you just can't really put your thumb on it. Like, the injuries have obviously been the thing that's been killing us, and for Trevor Story to be out for the season is heartbreaking. We're still kind of waiting on a guy to come in and fit that role to pitch every 5th or 6th day, and we don't have that. And I think in the long term, we're one arm injury away, and knock on wood, we're one arm injury away from being screwed. Because if, like, I'm not going to name any names, obviously, and you never wish injuries upon anyone. If a guy in the rotation goes down, you got to call someone up from Worcester. It's not going to be someone from the bullpen. It's not going to be a Wink to go out there and give you 4 or 5 innings. We're in a tough situation, and right now we're kind of just staying afloat. And I think we're one game above 500, or did yesterday bring us to 500? It's so early in the season, and I know Stav's going to say that it's very early in the season, and we've had some guys surprise us in some very good ways. So that's why I'm still kind of, you got to keep your hopes alive, and you got to go through the course of the season, and guys will come back, guys will come, guys will go. And what I really want to say, and what I've been thinking of since this morning, what would this team look like if Heim was here? Like, from at this very point, what would we look like? What would this pitching look like? Andrew Bailey would most likely not be in this system. And I think that if we're gonna, say that he's done a good job, we don't actually know it, but the pitching has been good, so we'll say it for now. I just think that you got to be hopeful. you got to be hopeful at this point in the season.
Okay. Griff, I'm taking the opposite end of the spectrum. I fucking hate this team. It's just like there was some light after the Seattle series to open the year, right? It's like, okay, they should have technically won every single one of those games. They didn't, whenever stuff happens. And then you go out and you sweep Oakland, the worst team of all time. And then you win the series versus the Angels. That's an okay, good job. You should have done that. And then you come home and get your ass beat by Baltimore. Your first competition of the year, you came out and you pissed between your legs, and no one played well. And now you're about to get swept by Cleveland. So they haven't won at home since September something, since last season. There's no bright spots to this team. Rafael Devers is batting under 200. He's the highest paid third baseman in baseball. Trevor Story, your second highest paid player, is out for the season. Masataka Yoshida's kind of been picking it up, but that's another high paid player who's probably going to be higher.
Home runs, dude. He's just such a slap hitter.
He's a DH too, and you're paying.
I hate how he can't field.
Tyler O'Neill, the best acquisition we've had this offseason, now has a fucking hole in his head because Rafael Devers tried to play right field on Monday. Tristan Casas is picking it up. Shout out to him. Our middle infield can't play middle infield at the high school level. Our shortstop, we don't have a shortstop.
Romy.
What major league ball club doesn't have a fucking shortstop? I mean, are you kidding me? And it's like, with this organization, you gave them the answers to the test. And somehow they came back and fucking failed it. All you needed to do is have some depth. Sign some veteran middle infielders that can last you when Trevor Story gets hurt. It's not a matter of if now, it's a matter of when. And coincidentally, it happened in the third fucking series of the year, and he's done. And what was your backup plan? Fucking David Hamilton, the worst baseball player I've ever seen in my life? Like, are you kidding me? And shout out Vaughn Grissom. He's playing DH in Worcester right now. That's your answer at shortstop. He's coming in. Don't worry. He can't even fucking field in Worcester right now. He's DHing. So shout out him. Pitching really hasn't been a problem. I have nothing to add necessarily to say about pitching. But Brian Bayo chips a tooth, and then you have God knows who the fuck's going to get called up. Like, you're going to call up Coco Crisp to give you some ball inning. Like, this team just pisses me off. And I can go on hours about how much I hate this team. It hurts. It hurts how much they suck. Like,
Coco Crisp.
Yeah, Coco Crisp is going to come out and he's going to start. And how the team is going to be sold on is, I don't know. You have your closer who doesn't even want to be on the team anymore.
I hate Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. And don't worry, you're going to bring in Joely Rodriguez to give out 5 runs. It's like, shit, we're close to winning. All right, bring in this asshole, and he's going to let in 5 runs. And another worst pitcher I've ever seen of all time. Like, with the way people are probably going to hear this and think that we're spoiled. I'm sorry. Every other fucking team in the majors has a shortstop that can field a grounder and throw it to first. We don't.
What I we have so many double play balls, and for
that aren't double play
out of an inning, or even just play, like you said, a throw to first, a play to get out of an inning, a backhander ground ball to whip over to first and get out of the inning is all of a sudden the scariest thing that happens during the game. I mean, when Joely Rodriguez comes out there and a righty is up to bat and he, breaks a windshield over the monster, that's no problem. I mean, because I'm ready for that. But when there is a ground ball to the left side of the infield, I can't even describe what I'm feeling in those moments. It's like the Titanic is sinking. There's no sense of security, and to have guys in the past that we've had who have kind of just locked down that side of the infield, And I'm not saying that Rafael Devers is the worst defensive player of all time, but he sure as hell isn't
Oh, he's
fucking
close to it.
lover.
He's
Like
pretty
he is
close to
like,
it.
and he's like 4 donuts away from being a DH.
Yeah.
He's-
He's getting very close to Pablo Sandoval territory. Listen, I love Rafael Devers. He's the face of this team.
He's fat.
But he's got to figure it out. Like, he's making this much money. And he's the only player on this fucking team that's for a long-term deal. Besides Cedon Rafaela, who, shout out him, he's awesome in the field. He's
not at the plate at all, though.
No, at the plate he's struggling, which I'll take that for
we
how
rushed
bad
him.
it's like we know what you know what you're gonna get from him at the plate, but you know he's gonna be spectacular in the field, which this team doesn't have at all anywhere. Cassis, to be honest, Cassis and Tyler O'Neill and Jarren Duran are the only bright spots on this team. And Tyler O'Neill is here for 1 year.
We have 3 major league hitters on our roster. Like everybody, like literally, like you look at it, like Jarren Duran is batting excellent. Like he's probably one of the best batters like in the league right now. After that, the line of like batting average drops like 200 every time.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry. Bobby Dahlbeck's 0 for 19 with 12 strikeouts. I don't know how many chances this guy's going to get.
Dude, he hasn't got a hit since like last August in the bigs.
We subbed him out last night for Devers because Devers
is like over 39 in his last 39 ABs in the last 2 years. It's terrible. It's terrible. And at one point it was like 0 for 14 with like 13 Ks. Like it wasn't like he was making contact. Like he wasn't touching the ball. He was swinging and missing.
I mean, it's going to get to the point, I think, this team in August where they're going to become unwatchable, and you're just going to be like, okay, can you just call up Kyle Teal and Marcelo Meyer just to put people in the stands and then ruin their development so we can complain about them in 2 years?
How old is Kyle Teal? I feel like Kyle Teal's like 22.
Yeah, exactly. So call him up and ruin his career like they do to everybody else.
Okay. You know what? If we're going to keep talking about guys, keep talking about guys that we're upset with, Connor Wong. Like, what happened this past offseason to Connor Wong that I think we'd be better off if he played second base? When he's behind the plate, if there is a ball that even has a chance of touching the dirt, it's going straight to the backstop. He cannot, and it's the new age of these catchers. I'm gonna be an old head right now. It's the new age of these catchers in the knee savers. He just like sits down and tries to do everything with his glove. Like he just tries to make scoops like he's Tristan Casas at first base on a cutter that's about to hit the guy. Like you have to go down and make a play. There's a lot of just plays in the field and dead ball opportunities that don't come the way that they should for us, that advance runners, that keep innings alive, that eat, the soul of the fan base and of the team. I mean, like, it's heartbreaking moments that happen on this team on a game-to-game basis. Like, even last night, we come back in that game, and then Kenley Jansen, who's, our closer and is back for another year, goes out and shits the bed. Like and for some reason, I don't know about you guys, when he went out there, he threw like his first 3 pitches. I was like, we're fucked. Like, he looked like shit. He looked terrible last night. And he's going to look like that.
It was like, oh, Kenley, get in the game right now. And he was like, he literally just like was snacking on like seeds. And he just walked out there and started throwing.
Yeah, throwing his 84-mile-per-hour cutter.
So Griff, we're talking about how Connor Wong got awful. Well, shout out to him. He's actually tied with Rafael Devers with 2 home runs and 18 total bases, even though he has 15 less at bats.
No, and I'll say this too.
He's batting 355.
He has one of the quickest pop times amongst all catchers, but on the defensive side, he cannot block a ball to save his life. And it's the small things like that where you're looking like a guy, and we talked about the shortstop position, and we talked about who's been there in the past, but to have the past that we've had at the catcher position where, we're just seeing these issues that we haven't seen in the past because we're a ball club that can go out and use our bank. And we're not doing that. We're trying to grow these guys like a Connor Wong, who's not anything. Connor Wong is a utility man for the Lowell Spinners, like for the Savannah Bananas. Connor Wong is like, he's so multi-purpose now. He should go play for the Harlem Globetrotters. He sucks. He should be a social media baseball player. And I'm not saying Reese McGuire's anything special, and I agree with you, Stav. He's swinging the bat well right now. I'm just saying in long term, Connor Wong is not the guy. I know that Kyle Teal is, quote unquote. My main point of emphasis on that take was just the defensive mistakes that we make, and not just the errors that come out on the box score, but just the little things that we are not getting right. And, the things from spring training that should be down, and should especially be down at this point in the season, this early in the season.
Question for you guys. Would you rather watch Willier Abreu play baseball or get shot in the neck?
Twice.
Catch last night.
Yeah.
Dude, Nets. Oh my god. Some nights I do like the, on NBC Sports Boston or on Nest, and they do like the pregame broadcast. They'll do a same game parlay. And they'll do it as the pregame show. They'll make a bet and all of this. And I swear to God, the same game parlay last night. It was 3 legs. It was Rafael Devers hit. Whitlock. It was Whitlock pitching last night, right?
Yeah. That was on the IL.
Whitlock under 4.5 Ks. And Willier Abreu to hit a home run. And this guy's like, yeah, I'm feeling real bold. I think Willier Abreu goes out and smashes one tonight. It was plus 1,500. Before he did it, I was like, oh, I'm going to ride. And he did it. And I shut the app off. I didn't bet on the game. I haven't bet on the game since me and Staub were there on Marathon Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucked. What a waste of time that was. Months like good after.
I was there for Jackson Holiday's debut. He sucked.
He sucked too.
He sucked. And then I had to watch Chris Martin throw a fucking meatball to Ryan O'Hearn, who fucking hit the ball to the Prudential Center to ruin the game. Literally ruined it.
Dude, literally everybody besides Mookie Betts sucked in this league. Nobody's good. Baseball is fucked, to be honest.
That game pissed me off. Jaron Duran made a play of his career. Literally on first base, made it home off of an infield, basically infield single.
We were talking about, so I've told you guys we had a guest speaker before in a class, and he was just talking for 10 minutes about how baseball is fucked because they can't do anything right. And I agree. And coming from someone like him, I'm not going to say who it was, but it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Yeah, baseball's fucked. Where are they going to be in 5-10 years? Nobody knows. They don't have a plan. So let's enjoy Willier Abreu while we can.
I mean, this is probably I don't know how we went from pitching issues to pitching's all right to we can't field a fucking baseball.
I'm how we see just the random weirdos that just love a high school baseball team or a small D1 baseball. I might go be a UMass little baseball fan. I need a team to watch every day, and this isn't cutting it. It's not. Maybe Northeastern. I mean, they go down to Fenway South and beat the Red Sox every fucking spring, anyways. I need a sport to watch every day. The Red Sox have done that for the last 22 years, and Stav, to your cousin's point, I just have never turned my back on them.
Yeah.
You heard it when Will asked about how I feel about this team. There's something about it. You go to the game on Marathon Monday, you get shit on, and all I think about is, wow, that was a really quick game because you know what? Nothing happened for us, and I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention to the game, but I was trying to, not pay attention. Obviously, Jackie Robinson Day made it tough. Everyone was wearing 42, so I didn't know who was pitching half of the time.
I think shout out to the players because that actually helped because no one would know who the fuck they are anyways. But continue.
Yeah, we got a very good view of Tyler O'Neill and Rafael Devers of that collision, and it was heartbreaking. I mean, it's tough. You invest so much of your I don't want to say your life, but time Like, we invest time into this ball club. Like,
Nothing more
you
valuable.
know all 26 guys on this roster, and I'm starting the episode with who the hell is Romy, and like I know exactly who he is. Like, I'm not. I want Craig Breslow to break the fucking bank in June. I want him to bring it out. I want Kenley gone, and I want a new closer in, a new fresh closer that's young. And you know what? Maybe we went and shipped off someone that we didn't want to ship off, but maybe we had to do it. Like you said, Stav, you're getting sick of this team. This team fucking sucks. You're not hopeful for this team. So what do? We're a quote unquote big market team. We play in Fenway Park, the most historical, blah blah blah, all this fun stuff. We can say all we want about the Red Sox. It's not cutting it right now, and our dream is to sneak into a wild card this year. That would be, a ceiling for us. I feel like, and that's a shitty position to be in for a franchise like this.
Yeah. So where I'm coming from with it, Griff, you're right. I will never turn my back on the Red Sox. I will never drop. They will always be. This is why I'm so frustrated. It's because I love this team so much, and I will kill for another World Series, right? I don't see it happening because John Henry's a cheap fuck. And he won't spend on this team. And it just seems like every decision they make isn't good. And we if you want to talk about Connor Wong, essentially we gave up Mookie Betts for nothing. So it's so frustrating. Time in and time out. We don't have anyone from that Mookie Betts acquisition. Well, Mookie Betts is the best player in fucking baseball right now. And then, oh shit, you have Romy Gonzalez or David Hamilton at shortstop, who was a shortstop that walked 2 years ago. That was the captain of your team. And
And you want to talk about Connor Wong, who's the catcher of your team, and you want to talk about defensive, errors, and those two guys who, you have the bank for.
Yeah, they have the money. They're just not going to spend it. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, everyone has a vision. It's not the GM's fault. It's ownership. They're approaching on what the team's unwatchable, and it hurts for me to say that. It's like I would kill for them to be good. I would literally sacrifice. What would I sacrifice? Next episode, I'll tell you what I'm sacrificing for. I would sacrifice.
I think I'll tell you what I sacrificed. I think I sacrificed a job with the organization because I think they might have, listened to this podcast and found one of the many episodes that we've talked about ownership after my job application.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm thinking about everything.
I was gonna say,
Never know.
Like one of my, I'd say, final remarks for the Sox, like you said, Griff. I mean, I have a hard time. I probably never will. I'm going to say I never will turn my back against this team. I have a hard time not being able to watch them, no matter how bad they are. It sucks watching, regardless. I mean, like last night, I literally was texting Griffin, "Hey, how the fuck does the radio app work? I can't listen to the game right now." Like, there's never not going to be a moment where I don't want to miss the game. It's hard. This team, like you said, Staub, is damn near unwatchable because I don't even know who the hell is playing for us at this point. Realistically, obviously I know who's out in the field. I can tell you, but I don't know where they came from, who they are,
or why they're out there.
And why they're out there. I'm sitting here and I have to watch Bobby Delbeck go 0 for 18, and he gets called up after he has a fucking 400 plus season in AAA. Why is he even here for the 15th time? I have to sit here and watch Connor Wong bat 300, but he can't play his position, but he can bat for some reason. Sure. And then we have to deal with our potential guy of we signed Trevor Story. He's supposed to be our guy. He had a month of May. That's to this day, 2 years ago, he's had 1 month of baseball played for us. Barely.
And to be I love how I don't even know if I'd say that was his best year. The time with Xander when he was at second was so promising because it was the year we kind of knew he was just going to be shortstop after that. And he never was. And he never dealt with those issues in Colorado. Maybe it's age, maybe it's just the amount of games Trevor Story put in Colorado, but I really don't understand what happened to him health-wise. Like, I feel like he never really dealt with injuries as a Rocky. Or when he did, like, I mean, he made it 2 series. It was the Oakland series. He snapped his fucking wrist, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was electric when he was playing.
Angels. The first game of the Angels series.
So, okay. So the day or 2 days after.
I mean, not this season, but I mean, when we first got him, he like obviously he got hurt to start the season, and then he made his debut, and then was like the best player in that month.
Yeah.
And then literally got hurt, and we haven't seen him since ever. Like, I mean, we saw him in the beginning of this year, but like, I'm not even going to count that because, like, I can't. You can't count the first 5, 6.
I mean, he's going to miss 150 games.
Yeah, he's going to miss the rest of the season, so it doesn't matter. And then we have to sit here and watch. My bad. We have to sit here and watch Kenley Jansen blow games. Chris Martin comes in, throws meatballs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, sick of it. When people are going to listen to this and think we're not fans, no, we love this team so much that it literally pains us to watch them like this. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for them to be competitive.
At this point,
I would step in. Who are we playing? We're playing Cleveland. I would step in on a Cleveland or on a Camilo Duvall cutter, righty. I'm a lefty, right into the arm. No pad. I would step into one for this ball club, and I don't think 7 out of those 9 guys on the roster, and I'll include the highest paid player, I don't think would do that for us right now. Like, I don't think that we have guys that, live and breathe this team like we used to. And Xander was kind of one of those last guys where we had this whole history and tradition, and we had Poppy, who was there forever and got to so many people. And I know that these guys are still around the clubhouse, here and there, but none of these guys got the chance to play with them or to even be in the organization while they were there. It's like a new tide where with, what we've said about ownership and all of this, all the players that, had the opportunity like a Mook, like a Xander to be a hero for this franchise and to keep this kind of thing going where we have the same tradition where we're this strong team year in and year out, and guys to look up in this organization. For the younger guys, they're not there anymore because we shipped them off. And like you said, Stav, haven't gotten anything in return for them.
I'm done with the Red Sox for today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost done with.
I was going to say my last thing is I'd kill not even to win a World Series at this point. I'd kill just to know that we would make the ALDS, not even the wild card. It doesn't even matter.
I'm fighting for a chance.
At least fight for something. Kind of put that whole Red Sox put a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of the league. But I guess around the league, the injury bug, just like we kind of already talked about, went through. I mean, we have a bunch of people out. I'll quickly name them off. We have Spencer Strider out for the season. Ozzy Albies just hit the IL. So did Yelich.
Yep.
Luis Roberts
team right there
for a little bit.
That's my fantasy team right there. I need to say that because I'm playing well right now. Will's shitting. Fuck, dude.
Luis Roberts out. Shane Bieber's out for the season. The Marlins don't have 2 pitchers in Yuri and Sandy Alcantara, and then Shane McClanahan
in general.
Yeah, they got shit.
They're worse than us.
Yeah. I would say honestly the league's kind of upside down right now.
Griff just gave us a bunch of hearts.
Did you see that?
Is that a thing?
Oh, it must be.
Yeah, look at that.
There we go. All the YouTube viewers once again. If you're listening to this in the car, if you're Darren, I always wonder what Darren's thinking of in these moments. It's these guys are idiots, and I have no idea what they're doing.
What you're thinking about right at this second.
Oh, well, I know what Darren's thinking about right now when he's listening to this. Oh, they fucking skipped over the Thunder series. He's gonna be pissed, and he might even be more pissed that we didn't talk about the G League championship between the Maine Celtics and the Thunder G League team.
Yeah, sorry, Darren. Shout out Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. All right, yeah. Injury bug in baseball sucks. Everyone's getting hurt. Spencer Strider, Shane Bieber, 2 of the top end starters in this league. That sucks to see. I don't know. It's so early in the season, and there's just so many negative storylines.
Yeah.
That just That sucks.
Is injury is the here's what, honestly, I'm gonna say this right now. This is the last thing I honestly have to say for the podcast. Was banning sticky stuff, and I'll throw steroids in there, the worst thing that could happen for baseball.
Yes. I mean, just dude, bring it all back.
Bring the juice baseball.
Fuck it, like the Russian leagues, like the Russian Olympics. You know how Russia got banned from the Olympics, so they're just doing their own.
Yeah.
And like they're not drug testing or anything.
Just bring everything back. Everything. So there's no disadvantage.
Like, I mean, there would be a lot more knuckleballers.
Have the stickiest
You're
of
telling
stuff.
me R.A. Dickey wasn't throwing the 84-mile-per-hour knuckleballs with the stickiest of stuff?
Yeah, bring it back. Bring back juice baseball, sticky stuff, steroids, sign stealing, trash can. Bring it all. No rules. It's like WWE fights.
Like there should be like foldable chairs on the field. You just fucking break them over their heads at second base. Instead of picking them off, you grab the chair and fucking break their head.
Yeah. Pitch clock, 3 seconds.
Oh wait, how about the what's his name from Houston? We should bring him up, the no-hitter.
Renaud Blanco, shout out him. He's actually been
really good.
He's been a bright spot on that team, who has been kind of struggling from the bat. But they started off terrible, right? They got swept by the Yankees, and that's a bright spot, and there shouldn't be anything to be scared of. I kind of wish that we were kind of in that category, because it's like, wait, my owner put in billions of dollars for this roster, for this 1 through 9, and Alex Bregman's batting 6th, and like all this fun stuff, and Yordan Alvarez, like Rafael Devers was just so fat. That's gonna be the title of this episode. What? Because it's not even this. Like last year at the beginning of the year, and he does this every year, and I know it as a fellow big guy, I notice it from him, because me and him kind of have a similar body build. He like is thin during spring training. Like he put the work in the off season, and over the course of the season, he does literally nothing but play baseball. Like just play baseball when he's asked to. Like he gets so fat, and you'll notice it by June. He is fat. By the time that they go to the Rays and he has the soft serve ice cream in the clubhouse for 4 straight days, he has it like 8 times. It's like he gets slow, he gets fat, and you see it on the defensive end. He starts, the slugging goes up. A few more home runs, a few more doubles, but a lot less singles, and a lot less strong defensive plays at third. I'm very much so scared. Like I said, the old Kelvin Benjamin, was it Kelvin Benjamin? He was like a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end.
Yep.
Like Rafael Devers is, if he was on the Tampa Bay Rays, he would look like Pablo Sandoval. And look it up. I love bringing up that thing, because look it up. Rafael Devers' favorite place to play is Tampa Bay, because they have soft serve ice cream in the clubhouse. Look it up.
Where was I? The Astros right now are sitting at 6-14. They're
and they have a fucking no-hitter.
Yeah, they're the
There's
third
a no-hitter in the game.
They're the third worst.
We're better than them.
We are. As of this second, we're better than them. I think they would sweep us.
What would have to happen for this team to turn around? Is it like an accusation?
I have a fucked up thought, and I'm not going to say it. But we're not going there. We would need the grace of God to come down and touch this clubhouse and be like, you guys have what it takes. We need Babe Ruth from the Sandlot to come out of that closet and be like, go play ball, kid, to Wilyer Abreu. He won't lead the team in errors in right field. That's what the goal of the season is. Wilyer Abreu not leading the team in errors in outfield. Who's starting for the Red Sox today?
David Hamilton at short, so I think that's Cedon.
Dude, we're playing the Worcester Red Sox with Rafael Devers.
Cedon, Duran, and Willier probably out there. I don't think that O'Neal's back yet.
No, he's not. He's probably out for next 2 games.
Probably out for the fucking season.
All right, so here's the
How many
lineup
saves
today.
did he get?
Ready? Jaron Duran, Rafael Devers, Tristan Casas, Willier Abreu, Emmanuel Valdez, Connor Wong, David Hamilton, and Pablo Reyes, and Ceddanne Rafaela. So
Who's pitching?
in this lineup, Tanner Houck, great. He's fine. I like
Cy
him.
Young.
He's
Cy
he
Young
has a
candidate as of
2
right now.
strikeouts in 3 appearances.
If the season ended right now, but you added 20 more appearances to Tanner Houck's total, he'd be the Cy Young.
Yep.
Against everyone else.
In this lineup today, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with something in common. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 guys with something in common. What do you think that is?
They all bat under 200.
They
No.
all played on the Woo Sox together last season.
Well, yes, but
They're all
they
lefties.
don't have 10 hits.
Oh.
Rafael Devers included. Rafael Devers, Willier
Sucks.
Abreu,
He's
Emmanuel
smoking
Valdez, David Hamilton, Pablo Reyes, and Ceddanne Rafaela, and no one has 10 hits out of them. The only 3 guys with 10 hits on this lineup, Jaron Duran, who leads the team in hits with 22 hits, Tristan Casas with 17 hits, and Connor Wong with 11. And don't worry, you have Willier Abreu in the 5-hole going 6 for 32. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Gotta end the episode. The vibes are low.
Fuck.
I'm gonna watch the game tonight. I can't. I mean, the game's happening in like 20 minutes.
If Willier
I can't
Abreu
be,
hits
like,
a home run,
I'm not gonna. I might not make it to the game.
Willier Abreu, if he hits a home run today, I'm not buying his jersey.
You're buying his jersey. You're buying his jersey. No, you're buying his jersey if he hits home run today. You're buying his jersey. And you're gonna bet on it too. Just put $10 on it. I'll put $10
I'd rather
on
give
it.
$10 to the homeless guy in downtown Crossing.
I'll put $10 on it right now. It'll be
Why?
my only bet of the week.
Why?
Hope. There's just got to be something.
It's not Willier Abreu. If Willier Abreu
All
pulled
right, I gotta go.
Jaron Duran lead off.
We gotta end this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed.
I didn't.
We'll catch you guys later.
The title
And
is
peace.
Willier
And
Abreu.
peace. And peace.